We all think we know the story of Columbus's arrival in the Americas, but what truly happened when he set foot on these distant shores? And how did the native people welcome him? This is the dramatic tale of that first encounter between the Spanish explorers and the Native Americans, an encounter that would change history forever. It was the Caribbean, 1492. On the night of October 11th, after weeks at sea, Columbus and his crew neared the Bahamas, their eyes scanning the horizon. A sailor named Rodrigo de Triana was the first to spot land, though Admiral Columbus, who reportedly glimpsed a mysterious light in the distance, insisted on double-checking. This faint, flickering glow became a symbol of hope for the crew as it appeared and disappeared like a wax candle in the night, guiding them onward. With excitement building, Columbus urged his men to stay vigilant, even offering a reward, a silk doublet, and 10,000 maravedis promised by the Spanish crown to the first sailor who could confirm land. Then, in the quiet hours just after midnight, they finally saw it, a strip of land rising in the darkness. Columbus ordered the ships to halt, waiting until dawn to approach. By daylight on October 12th, they could see the lush green trees and colorful fruits lining the shore. Where exactly they landed remains a mystery, but history records that it was somewhere in the Bahamas. As Columbus stepped ashore, he knelt, thanked God, and planted Spain's flag in the soil. The Tainos, the island's indigenous people who had lived there for generations, observed from the shadows, their curiosity piqued by these strange visitors. As the day unfolded, the Tainos emerged from hiding, gathering on the beach to meet the newcomers. They greeted Columbus and his men with gifts, food, parrots, and cotton, gestures of welcome. In return, the Spaniards handed out red hats and beads. The Tainos, who had never seen people like them, thought they were gods. For Columbus, however, these gifts were just a start. He had a single mission: to find gold. In December of 1492, as Columbus's 3 ships sailed east of Cuba, they approached what would later be known as the island of Hispaniola. Just as they prepared to return to Spain on Christmas Eve, disaster struck. The Santa Maria ran aground and sank. The local Taino chief, Guacanagari, directed his people to assist the Spanish, helping them salvage what they could. Faced with the challenge of limited space on the remaining ships, Columbus decided to construct a fort, La Navidad, using the Santa Maria's timber, and left 39 men behind to hold the position. With some native people, exotic birds, foods, and plants, Columbus set sail for Spain, his reports piquing the curiosity of the king and queen. For his next journey, Columbus returned with 17 ships and soldiers. Upon arriving back at La Navidad, however, Columbus encountered devastation. The fort had been burned, and the men left behind had been killed. Reports indicated that the sailors had violated local customs, inciting tension. Cayanabo, a Taino leader, convened with others, and they agreed that such disrespect was unacceptable. United in their resolve, they acted to defend their people. Columbus, determined to respond, quickly established fortified posts and founded a new settlement named La Isabela. As tensions grew, Columbus implemented harsh policies, forcing the Taino people to labor in gold mines. Those who couldn't deliver the demanded quantities of gold or cotton suffered brutal consequences. Many were subject to violence, and the impact on the Taino communities was devastating. Famine spread as fields lay untended, and disease took a toll. Eventually, Cayanabo was captured under deceptive means and sent to Spain, never to return. As conditions worsened, some Taino took their own lives, while others fled to the mountains to escape. In the mountain region, a remarkable Taino leader emerged, Ana Caona, the widow of Cayanabo. Known for her strength and resilience, she led the Taino resistance. However, in 1503, the Spanish governor invited her to a meeting, supposedly in peace, with other Taino leaders. Tragically, it was a trap. At the governor's order, the meeting house was set aflame, and Ana Caona was later executed after she refused an offer of clemency conditioned upon submission. Her unwavering spirit made her a symbol of resistance, and her legacy endures as one of strength and defiance in the face of oppression. Columbus faced his own reckoning when he was arrested and returned to Spain due to conflicts with his own men and abuses committed under his command. Though later allowed to return to the Caribbean, he never revisited Hispaniola, eventually passing away in 1506. Meanwhile, the legacy of the Taino struggle continues to echo through history, marked by leaders like Ana Kaona, who stood boldly against all odds. Ana Kaona was executed by hanging at the age of 29, her legacy etched in Taino history. In another part of the island, Chief Catabana Mejo also held strong against Spanish forces, resisting for a time before he, too, met the same tragic fate. But among the Taino people, one name rose as a beacon of resilience and defiance: Enrique. He was there during the infamous meeting where Spanish forces set fire to 80 Taino leaders, including his own father. Enrique narrowly escaped that day, but the brutal occupation continued. In 1519, a new injustice ignited Enrique's fight. After a Spanish governor, Venezuela, assaulted his wife, Enrique could take no more. With a determined group of Tainos, he began a powerful revolt from within the mountains, establishing a self-sufficient community and a complex scouting network to keep his people safe. Enrique instructed his followers to fight only in self-defense, sparing Spanish lives unless necessary, and focusing on disarming their oppressors. Time after time, the Spaniards attempted to crush the rebellion. Yet, with their deep knowledge of the region, Enrique's forces pushed them back repeatedly. In one fierce encounter, they even captured Venezuela himself. But instead of executing him, Enrique ordered his release, a powerful statement of mercy from the Taino leader. For years, Enrique and his people held on to their freedom with a fierce, unyielding resolve, waging a relentless guerrilla campaign against their Spanish oppressors. These battles were not fought with conventional weapons or vast armies, but rather with the knowledge of the land, the unity of the people, and an unbreakable spirit that drove them to resist. Every raid, ambush, and strategic retreat told a story of defiance, one that resonated throughout the mountains and sent shivers down the spines of the Spanish forces. The Tainos moved like shadows through the forests, each trail a well-worn path in their history, each peak and valley a sanctuary for their community. With every Spanish advance, Enrique's warriors seemed to disappear into the terrain, only to strike from an unexpected angle, disrupting supply lines, disarming soldiers, and sabotaging Spanish camps. They fought not just for survival, but to protect a way of life, a connection to the land that the Spanish could never understand. Under Enrique's leadership, the Tainos had found a fierce determination, a sense of purpose that was more powerful than any weapon the Spaniards possessed. Enrique himself was more than just a leader. He was a symbol. He was a reminder to his people that their culture, their traditions, and their land were worth every sacrifice. He had endured loss, witnessing the murder of his father and the assault on his wife, acts of cruelty that fueled his resistance. The pain of these experiences only strengthened his resolve, for he knew that every day his people held their ground was a day of honor and dignity. Year after year, the Spaniards tried to crush the Taino resistance. They sent more soldiers, tightened their hold on the nearby settlements, and attempted to wear Enrique and his people down with attrition. But Enrique and his followers remained steadfast. The mountains were their home, and they knew every hiding place, every strategic vantage point. The Spanish soldiers, ill-prepared for this new form of warfare, struggled to match the Tainos' agility and adaptability. Enrique's fighters moved swiftly and silently, striking in the dead of night or at the break of dawn, each ambush a reminder that the land would not easily surrender. The Spanish suffered casualties and humiliating defeats, yet they kept coming. In desperation, they attempted to make allies among the Taino people, hoping to create divisions within the resistance. But Enrique had united his people with a singular purpose: to remain free. His leadership was not merely respected but revered, his vision a beacon in the darkness of oppression. Families, warriors, and elders alike saw in him a path forward, a leader who had transcended personal grief to lead a collective struggle. Enrique knew the stakes of their rebellion extended beyond their own survival. If they fell, the Taino culture, beliefs, and history could be erased. Every victory was not only a blow to the Spaniards, but a preservation of their heritage, a defiant stand to say, "We are here, and we will not be broken." The struggle was about more than land. It was about the soul of a people who had known harmony with their environment for generations. Then, after years of resistance, something unimaginable occurred. In 1533, King Charles V of Spain, perhaps weary of the ongoing costs and struggles, made a groundbreaking decision. He acknowledged the Taino's strength and resilience, signing a treaty that granted them freedom and the right to their land. It was a victory that few had dared to hope for, a recognition from one of the most powerful empires in the world that the Tainos were an unconquerable people. Enrique's leadership had forced an empire to relent, and with it came a sense of triumph, a vindication of everything they had fought for. With this newfound freedom, Enrique led his followers deeper into the mountains, where they established their sanctuary, a place where they could live in peace and carry on their traditions without the shadow of foreign rule. This secluded haven became the last refuge of the Taino culture, a place where they could sing their songs, tell their stories, and teach their children about the ancestors who had fought to secure this freedom. Enrique knew that the survival of their culture depended on more than just political freedom. It required a commitment to preserving their identity, their language, and their connection to the land. Yet, even as they built a new life, an invisible enemy loomed on the horizon. European diseases, introduced by the Spanish, spread through the Taino community with devastating speed. Unlike the battles they had fought in the mountains, this was an enemy they couldn't see, couldn't evade, and couldn't fight. With no immunity to these foreign illnesses, the Taino population began to decline rapidly. Families that had once flourished were now haunted by sickness, and the sounds of laughter and life in the villages grew quieter with each passing year. Enrique watched his people suffer, feeling the weight of each loss. The mountains, which had once been a fortress and a refuge, now bore witness to a silent devastation. Enrique's heart ached as he saw the faces of his people, faces that had once been filled with hope and resilience, now shadowed by grief and despair. For every life lost to disease, a piece of Taino culture was lost as well, a language, a story, a memory that could never be replaced. As the years passed, the proud Taino community that had once numbered in the thousands dwindled to a handful. By the end of the century, official records would declare the Tainos extinct. It was a cruel irony that after enduring the oppression and violence of Spanish rule, they would fall not to swords or guns, but to invisible forces brought from across the ocean. Enrique's victory had been a fleeting one, a brief respite in a larger tragedy. And yet, the legacy of Enrique and the Taino people lives on. Though they faced annihilation, their courage, their love for the land, and their desire for freedom became an enduring story, a story of a people who, against all odds, stood up to one of the greatest empires of the time. Enrique's name became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even the smallest communities can hold their ground and make a stand for what is just. Today, as we remember Enrique and the Tainos, we see more than just a tale of resistance. We see a testament to the human spirit. The Tainos may no longer walk the earth as they once did, but their legacy remains woven into the land they loved so fiercely. The mountains that sheltered them still echo with the memory of their voices, a silent yet powerful reminder that they once lived, loved, and fought with a passion that could not be conquered. Enrique's legacy is one of unyielding hope and determination, and even as the world changes, his story endures. In the shadows of history, the spirit of the Taino people lives on, a legacy of a culture that, though it faced unimaginable hardship, refused to be erased. Thank you for watching the video until the end. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new videos from us. What do you think about today's topic? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found the video helpful, feel free to share it with your friends and family. We hope you had a great time. See you in the next video with even more exciting content. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out.